He stepped back like she'd burned him. Her palm was still pressed to his bare chest, warm skin under her hand, his heartbeat punching against her fingers, when the bedroom door slammed open and the cold air rushed in like a judge. The silk sheet tangled around her thighs. Her breath caught. The chandelier above them shivered, glass chiming softly. "Get out!" Jamin said, voice flat, eyes like black ice. Her throat tightened. We just... He didn't even look at her mouth. Didn't look at the bruised red mark on his collarbone where she'd bitten him an hour ago. He stared past her like she'd already stopped existing. Outside the suite, muffled footsteps. A security radio hissed. Somewhere downstairs, bass from the club thumped. Dull, relentless, like a countdown. "Why are you doing this?" she whispered, fingers curling into his skin as if holding on could keep the night from snapping in half. "Tell me what I did." His jaw ticked. For 1 second, one. His gaze flicked down to her hand, to the ring-shaped indentation his own fingers had left on her wrist earlier when he'd pulled her closer, not away. Contradiction, possession, panic. Then his face sealed again. "You were never mine," he said. "You were a mistake." The words hit like a slap. Her ears rang. She tasted copper. Footsteps stopped right outside the door. "Boss," a guard's voice murmured, uneasy. "They're here." Jamin's shoulders hardened like armor. He grabbed her elbow, not gentle, not cruel, just decisive, and dragged her toward the hall, bare feet on cold marble, her hair snagging on his watch. The scent of him, smoke and clean soap, still on her lips. "Don't," she choked. "Please, don't do this." He shoved the suite door open, and in the hallway light she saw it. Blood on his knuckles. Fresh. Still wet. "What did you—" she started. He cut her off, voice low and lethal. "If you want to live, you'll leave tonight." Everything went silent. She blinked hard, tears spilling anyway. "Live? What are you talking about?" His gaze finally met hers, raw, wrecked, furious with something that wasn't her, and he whispered the bomb that split the world in two. "I'm throwing you out because someone paid to put a bullet in you." Her stomach rolled. Her hand flew to her mouth, and then, barely audible, she said the secret she'd been trying to find the right moment to tell him, until he stole the moment from her completely. "I'm pregnant, Jamin." His breath hitched like he'd been stabbed. A guard's radio crackled again. "They're moving." Jamin's eyes went wide, just for a heartbeat, before the cold returned twice as sharp. "Get her downstairs," he barked. Her knees buckled, and as 2 hands seized her shoulders, she realized the most terrifying part wasn't that he threw her out. It was that he looked like he was doing it to save her. Rain hammered soul like the city was trying to wash itself clean. The hotel lobby at 2:17 a.m. was too bright, too polished, too full of strangers who didn't know her heart was splitting open in public. The marble floor gleamed beneath her bare feet. Someone shoved a coat around her shoulders, but it didn't stop the shaking. A woman's voice snapped nearby. "Jesus, Maya, you look like you got hit by a truck." Maya turned, blinking through tears, and found the one person she trusted in this country, Imani Brooks, her best friend, her ride or die, her loudmouth guardian angel who could turn a whisper into a war. Imani's eyes went from Maya's bare legs to the red marks on her wrist, then up to the penthouse elevator as if she could see through metal and money. "Oh, I'm gonna kill him," Imani said, already stepping forward. Maya grabbed her sleeve with trembling fingers. Don't go up there." "Why the hell not?" Because he said someone paid to—" Maya's voice broke. She swallowed hard, nausea creeping up her throat. "No, not here. Don't throw up in the lobby." Imani's face changed, humor evaporating. "Paid to what?" Maya's lips quivered. "To kill me." Imani went still. Then she looked around, really looked, at the men by the doors, the suits in corners pretending to be guests, the way security kept shifting their weight like they were waiting for a signal. "Okay," Imani said, low and steady now. We're leaving, right now." Maya nodded too fast. Tears kept falling anyway. She pressed a hand to her stomach, more instinct than knowledge, like she could hold the secret inside her long enough to survive the night. Imani pulled her close, whispering in her ear. "Did you tell him?" Maya's throat tightened. "I tried." "Did he hear you?" Maya stared at the elevator lights. They didn't move. They didn't come down. "He heard," Maya whispered. "He just didn't stay human long enough to react." Imani's jaw clenched. "Then we'll stay alive long enough to make him." They pushed through the revolving door into the rain. The street smelled like wet asphalt and exhaust. The cold slapped Maya's skin. Her teeth chattered as Imani dragged her toward the parking garage. Behind them, the hotel doors opened again. A man's voice, sharp Korean, cut through the night. Imani shoved Maya behind a concrete pillar. "Down," she hissed. Maya crouched, coat slipping off one shoulder. Her heart pounded so hard it felt like it was trying to climb out of her ribs. Footsteps ran past. Another voice barked orders. A gun clicked. Everything happened so fast. Maya's vision blurred with tears and rain. She hugged her stomach tighter. "Please, please, not like this." Then a shadow fell over the entrance to the garage. Tall, broad, familiar. Goi Min. He wasn't wearing a shirt now, just a black suit jacket thrown over bare skin like he'd dressed mid-war. Blood streaked his knuckles. His eyes scanned the garage like a predator who'd already decided what he'd kill first. Imani's breath caught. What the fuck is he doing here? Maya couldn't speak. Her throat closed around his name. Jamin's gaze snapped to the pillar, like he could feel her there. For a split second, his face cracked. Not anger, fear. Then he turned away, lifted his hand, and signaled his men. "Clear it," he said in Korean. "Now." Imani whispered, furious. "He throws you out and then plays hero?" Maya's chest ached. "That's what hurts," she whispered back. "He acts like he doesn't care. And then he looks like he's willing to die." A car engine roared nearby. Jamin spun. A black sedan burst into the garage too fast, tires screaming. The window rolled down. Maya saw the gun before she saw the face. She didn't even scream. Her body just froze. Jamin moved first. He lunged, fast, brutal, slamming into the sedan's door as the gun fired. The shot cracked like lightning. Glass exploded. A bullet tore into the concrete, inches from Maya's head, dust spraying her hair. Maya's hands flew up. Her breath shattered into a sob. Jamin grabbed the shooter's wrist, twisted until bone popped, then yanked the man halfway out of the car and smashed his face into the doorframe. Again and again. Imani stared, wide-eyed. "Holy—" Jamin's voice was a growl. "Who paid you?" The shooter spat blood, laughing through broken teeth. "She's not worth it, boss." Jamin's eyes went dead. He slammed the man's head one more time, then dropped him like trash. Maya's knees gave out. She sank to the wet ground, sobbing, silent and shaking. Jamin turned toward her. He took one step, then stopped. Like an invisible line in the air told him if he crossed it, he'd never let her go again. "Maya," he said, hoarse. She looked up, rain and tears on her lashes. "Why?" Her voice cracked. "Just tell me why." His throat worked. His hands flexed, blood dripping off his knuckles onto the concrete. "I can't keep you," he whispered. "Not in my world." Imani snapped. "You already did, asshole. You already put your hands on her heart." Jamin flinched like the words hit harder than bullets. Maya's stomach rolled again. She pressed her fist to her mouth, breathing fast. "Don't throw up, don't!" Jamin's gaze dropped, finally, to her hand on her stomach. A flicker. Recognition. Horror. He took another step, voice breaking. "Are you—" Imani moved in front of Maya like a shield. "Back the fuck up, Mafia Ken doll. You don't get to touch her after you tossed her out like garbage." Jamin's eyes went to Imani, then back to Maya, pleading and furious at the same time. "Maya," he said again, softer. "Come with me, just for tonight. I'll keep you safe." Maya laughed once, a sound that wasn't humor, just pain spilling out. Safe? "You're the storm, Jamin." His jaw clenched. "And I'm the only one who can stop it." 3 months ago, it started with a wrong door and a right mistake. Maya had been lost in Gangnam at 9 p.m., clutching her phone like it could protect her from Seoul's neon chaos. The air smelled like fried street food and perfume and winter. She'd just moved from Atlanta 2 weeks earlier for a design contract. Bright dreams, fresh start, no drama. Imani had warned her in the airport. "Girl, you're cute, you're black, and you're a walking magnet for trouble. Don't go collecting trauma overseas." Maya had rolled her eyes. "I'm collecting paychecks." That night, the club was a pulse of light and bass, lasers slicing smoke, bodies packed tight, sweat and champagne and electricity. Imani was at the bar flirting shamelessly with a handsome Korean bartender who kept laughing like she was a good kind of dangerous. Maya had slipped away to breathe. She found a hallway, a door, a quiet space. She pushed it open, and there he was, Jae-min, standing by a window in a private lounge, suit immaculate, expression carved from stone. His hair was dark and slightly damp like he'd just come out of rain. A cigarette burned between his fingers, smoke curling around him like an aura. 2 men in suits turned toward her immediately. Maya's heart dropped. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Wrong room." One of the men started forward, hand going to his waistband. Jamin lifted his hand once, lazy. The man stopped instantly. Jamin looked at Maya like he was trying to decide if she was a threat or a hallucination. Then his gaze fell to her hands, empty. No weapon, just trembling. "You're lost," he said, English smooth, accented, cold. Maya swallowed. "Yeah, and apparently alive by your grace." Something shifted, barely, in his eyes. A flicker of amusement he tried to kill. "Name," he demanded. "Maya." He dragged on the cigarette, exhaled slowly. "Maya what?" "Maya Brooks." Imani's last name, technically. They'd set up everything together. Jamin's brows rose a millimeter. "Brooks," he repeated, like tasting it. "American." "And you're Korean," Maya shot back because fear made her mouth reckless. "Congratulations, we've solved geography." The bodyguard stiffened. Jamin's lips twitched. "You're brave, or stupid." "Probably both," she said then, because she was panicking, added, "I'm leaving." She turned. His voice stopped her. "Wait." Maya froze. Jamin took 1 step closer. The room smelled like smoke and expensive cologne. His presence filled the air like pressure. "Why are you here?" he asked. Maya blinked. "Because I can't read Korean signs and your club is a maze designed by Satan?" One of the men made a choking sound that might have been a laugh. Jamin's gaze sharpened. "You don't know who I am?" "No," Maya said honestly. "Should I?" He studied her for a long moment, then flicked ash into a crystal tray. "No," he said. "You shouldn't." And somehow that sounded like a warning and an invitation at the same time. Back in the rain-soaked garage at 2:23 a.m., Maya's body shook so hard her bones hurt. Jamin stood 10 feet away like distance was penance. Imani crouched beside Maya, rubbing her back. "Breathe, babe. In, out, don't you pass out on me." Maya's eyes burned. I don't." A siren wailed far off, then faded. The city kept moving like nothing mattered, like her life wasn't on a knife edge. Jamin's voice dropped. "They'll come again." Imani glared. "Who?" Jamin's jaw tightened. "My father's enemies." Maya's chest tightened. "Your father?" Jamin looked away like the word tasted rotten. "Chairman Kang." Imani's eyes widened. "Wait, Kang as in Kang Syndicate? Like the Korean Mafia, the one my auntie's K-drama obsessed with?" Jamin's gaze snapped to her. "This isn't a joke." Imani held up her hands. "I'm not joking. I'm terrified and furious." Maya pressed her coat closed, shivering. "So you threw me out because your enemies want me dead?" Jamin's mouth tightened. "You were in my bed. They know I wanted you. That makes you leverage." Maya's breath hitched. The words stung because they were true, because he did want her. She'd felt it in the way his hands trembled the first time he touched her, like he was afraid of wanting anything at all. "And the baby?" Maya whispered, voice barely there. "Is that leverage too?" Jamin flinched. His throat moved like he swallowed broken glass. Imani snapped, "Answer her!" Jamin's eyes shone, just a little, in the harsh garage light. "I didn't know," he said, voice rough. "I swear I didn't know." Maya's tears fell harder. "I tried to tell you and you called me a mistake." His face twisted, pain, rage, regret, all tangled. "I called you a mistake because if I called you mine," he whispered, "they'd cut you open to prove it." Everything went silent. Maya's stomach turned violently. Imani grabbed her shoulders. "Maya? Hey!" Maya gagged, leaning over, rain splashing her hands as she vomited onto the concrete, acid and panic and heartbreak. She sobbed after, breath heaving, shame burning hot in her face. Jamin took a step forward without thinking. Imani shoved a palm out. "Don't!" Jamin stopped again, fists clenched. His voice broke. "I'm sorry." Maya wiped her mouth with a shaking hand. "Sorry doesn't undo what you did." His eyes dropped to her again, to her stomach. His voice went quiet. "How far along?" Maya's laugh was bitter. "Does it matter? You threw us out." "We're not out," he said sharp, then softer. "Not if I'm still breathing." Imani stood slowly, posture hard. "We're leaving, with or without your permission." Jamin's gaze flicked to the garage entrance. "You can't go alone." Imani sneered. "Watch me." Jamin's phone buzzed. He checked it, his face drained. "Move," he said, suddenly urgent. "Now." Maya's pulse spiked. "What?" Jamin grabbed his jacket off the ground, threw it over Maya's shoulders himself in one swift movement, his fingers brushing her neck, sending a shock through her body that made her hate herself for still reacting to him. "Imani," he snapped, "get her in my car." Imani barked. "No!" Jamin's voice went lethal. "Do you want her dead, or do you want to hate me later?" Imani froze, eyes blazing. Maya whispered, "Imani?" Imani clenched her jaw, then nodded once. "Fine, but I'm riding with her." Jamin's gaze locked on Maya. "Look at me." Maya did, trembling. His voice softened like a wound. "I'm going to fix this." Her throat tightened. "You can't fix calling me nothing." His eyes shimmered. "Then I'll bleed until you believe I'm something." 2 weeks later, Maya was at rock bottom, a cramped apartment on the edge of Itaewon. Cheap heater that smelled like burning dust. Rain still tapping at the window like the city wouldn't let her forget. Imani paced the living room in fuzzy socks, holding Maya's pregnancy test box like it was evidence in a trial. "Okay, so we're not panicking." Maya lay curled on the couch, blanket up to her chin, eyes swollen. She'd cried so much her face felt bruised. "Girl, you are panicking," Maya croaked. Imani threw her hands up. "I'm organizing panic. There's a difference." Maya swallowed, nausea rolling again. "He hasn't called." Imani stopped. "Of course he hasn't. He's probably busy stabbing people and brooding in a mansion." Maya's chest tightened. "Don't." Imani softened, sitting beside her. "Babe, I'm mad because you're hurting." Maya stared at the ceiling, voice small. "I miss him," Imani scoffed. "Toxic." Maya's eyes filled again. "I know." Silence sat heavy. Then Imani's phone buzzed. She checked it and froze. Maya's heart jumped. "What?" Imani's mouth went tight. "Your work." Maya sat up too fast, dizziness washing over her. "What about it?" Imani turned the screen. "An email. Contract terminated. Security concerns. Do not return to building." Maya's breath shattered. "No, no, no, no." She started crying again. Hard, ugly sobs. Her whole body shook. Imani grabbed her, holding her close. "Hey, hey!" Maya clutched at her shirt. "Everything is falling apart. I'm alone. I'm pregnant. He hates me. I can't even fucking work." Imani's voice went fierce. "You are not alone. I'm here. And that baby is yours, and we're gonna protect it like it's a damn crown." Maya sobbed into her shoulder, tasting salt and snot and humiliation. A knock hit the door, 3 sharp raps. Imani stiffened. "Who the hell?" Another knock. Maya's heart stopped. "Imani?" Imani grabbed a kitchen knife, because of course she did, and crept to the door. "Who is it?" A familiar voice answered, calm and dangerous. "Open." Maya's stomach flipped. Her skin went cold. "Jamin," she whispered. Imani hissed. "Oh, I'm gonna—" "Open," he repeated. "Now! They found you!" Everything went silent. Imani yanked the door open, knife raised. Jamin stood there in the dim hallway light, suit dark, eyes exhausted, a small cut on his cheek like he'd been too close to violence again. Behind him, another man, tall, broad-shouldered, warm-eyed, stood with hands visible, non-threatening. Jamin's gaze went straight to Maya. His voice was softer than it had any right to be. "Pack." Maya's eyes burned. "No." His jaw clenched. "Maya—" She stood, shaking. "You don't get to order me after you threw me out like trash." Something in his expression cracked. Regret flooded his eyes. "I know," he said, voice low, "and I'll spend the rest of my life paying for it. But right now, you're coming with me." Imani stepped forward, knife still up. "Give me one reason not to stab you." Jamin didn't even blink. "Because I'm the reason she's still alive." The warm-eyed man cleared his throat awkwardly. "Hi, I'm Minho. I'm not the stabbing type." Imani narrowed her eyes. "You're funny." Minho gave a small, nervous smile. "I try." Jamin snapped, "Imani!" Imani blinked. "You know my name?" Jamin's gaze didn't move. "I know everything that matters." Maya's throat tightened at the possessiveness, the contradiction, the way he sounded like he didn't care, but acted like the world belonged to him when it came to her. "I'm not your prisoner," Maya said. Jamin stepped closer, stopping just out of arm's reach. "No," he whispered. "You're my weakness." Maya's breath caught. Her eyes filled again. Minho muttered under his breath, "Wow, that's intense." Imani shot him a look. "Stay in your lane, sunshine." Minho lifted his hands. "Yup, lane." Jamin's phone buzzed. He looked at it, then at Maya. "They're 2 blocks away," he said. "If you stay, you die." Maya's knees went weak. Imani lowered the knife slowly. "Fuck," Maya whispered, broken. "Why is this my life?" Jamin's voice was raw. "Because you walked into the wrong room." He paused, swallowing. "And I didn't let you walk out." That night, Maya went with him. A mansion on a hill overlooking the Han River. The gates opened like a mouth. Security everywhere. Silent men, earpieces, guns tucked under tailored jackets. The air smelled like pine and rain and expensive stone. Maya sat in the back seat, hands clenched, watching Jamin's profile. He didn't touch her, didn't look at her, like he was afraid one glance would make him beg. Imani sat beside Maya, arms crossed like a fortress. Minho drove, glancing in the rearview mirror like he was watching a live grenade and praying it didn't go off. At 3:04 a.m., they entered a guest suite, bigger than Maya's entire apartment. Cream walls, soft lighting, a bed that looked too clean to cry on. Maya's chest tightened anyway. Jamin stood at the door, one hand on the frame, body blocking the hall like he was a shield. "You'll be safe here," he said. Maya's laugh came out shaky. "Safe in the Mafia boss's house." Jamin's eyes flashed. "Safe because I said so." Imani stepped closer, face inches from his. "If anything happens to her," Jamin's voice dropped to a whisper of violence. "If anything happens to her, I'll burn the city down." Maya's stomach flipped. Imani blinked, thrown off by the sincerity. Then she scoffed. "Okay, dramatic." Jamin's gaze softened, just slightly, toward Maya. Eat something in the morning. You're pale. Maya snapped, "Don't act like you care." He flinched like she'd slapped him. "I do care," he said, voice rough. "That's the problem." He turned away fast, like staying would break him. "Minho will bring a doctor tomorrow." Maya's eyes widened. "A doctor? No, I'm fine." Jamin's jaw clenched. "You threw up blood in the garage." Imani chimed in. "She threw up fear, not blood." Jamin's gaze cut to Imani. "She's pregnant." Imani's mouth opened, then closed. You really believe her?" Jamin's voice went quiet. "I'm not stupid." Maya's throat tightened. "You believed me, but you still threw me out." Jamin's eyes flashed with pain. "I threw you out because I couldn't protect you with you next to me." Maya's tears fell again, third time, maybe fourth. She wiped them angrily. "I didn't ask you to decide for me." Jamin stepped forward, then stopped himself. His hands shook at his sides. "You're right," he whispered. "I'm sorry." Imani stared. Did he just apologize? Minho from the doorway murmured, "Miracles happen." Imani shot him a look. "Shut up." Minho smiled anyway. Jamin swallowed. "Sleep." Maya's voice trembled. "I can't." His gaze dropped to her lips like memory hit him. The room filled with the ghost of their first kiss. 2 months ago, 11:48 p.m., a quiet street in Itaewon. Wind cold, Maya laughing because she'd teased him into eating tteokbokki from a paper cup, sauce on his lip. "You're a disaster," he'd muttered, wiping his mouth. Maya had grinned. "And you're obsessed." He'd looked at her like he wanted to deny it. Then he'd grabbed her wrist, gentle this time, and pulled her close. "Maya," he'd whispered, breath warm against her mouth. "Don't make me want you." She'd swallowed, heart racing. Too late. His kiss had been slow at first, hesitant, like he didn't trust himself. His hand cupped the back of her neck, thumb stroking her skin like a promise. Then it deepened. Hunger, restraint snapping, the cold man turning human in her mouth. She'd tasted spice and smoke and something desperate. When he'd pulled back, his forehead pressed to hers, his breath shaking. "This is wrong," he'd whispered. Maya had smiled, breathless. "Then why does it feel like the only right thing?" His eyes had shut like he was praying. "Because you don't know me." Maya had whispered, "Then let me." And he had, until the night he didn't. Now, in the mansion suite, Jamin stood frozen in the doorway, eyes dark with memory and war. Maya whispered, breaking, "I loved you." Imani gasped quietly like she hadn't expected that truth to come out so naked. Jamin's face twisted. "You shouldn't," he whispered. Maya laughed through tears. "I didn't ask permission." He stared at her for a long moment, then he nodded once, like surrender. "I'll stand outside your door," he said, "all night, so you can sleep." Maya's chest ached. "Why?" His voice broke. "Because I can't hold you and I can't leave you." He stepped out, closing the door gently. Maya slid down the wall and cried again, deep, shaking sobs into her hands, because protection felt too much like love, and love felt like a trap. Meanwhile, in the mansion kitchen at 4:12 a.m., Imani cornered Minho like he owed her answers and a refund. "So," she said, eyes narrowed, "you work for him?" Minho rubbed the back of his neck. "I help. I'm not really a mafia guy. I'm more like logistics." Imani snorted. "Logistics for crime." Minho winced. "When you say it like that, it sounds bad." "It is bad," Imani said, then paused, studying him. "Why are you nice?" Minho blinked. "I'm sorry?" Imani pointed at him. "You smile. You joke. You look like you apologize when you step on ants." Minho shrugged, sheepish. "I do apologize when I step on ants." Imani stared. Then against her will, she laughed. One short burst. Minho's eyes warmed. "There it is." Imani's laughter died fast. "Don't get comfortable." Minho's smile softened. "I won't, but You should know something." Imani's face hardened. "What?" Minho lowered his voice. "Jamin didn't throw Maya out because he didn't care." Imani's jaw clenched. "He better not have." Minho swallowed. "He threw her out because Chairman Kang ordered it." Imani's blood went cold. His father told him to throw her out? Minho nodded. Chairman Kang said if Jamin kept her, she'd be killed. If he let her go, maybe she'd disappear. Imani's eyes flashed. So his solution was to break her heart? Minho's voice went quiet. His solution was to keep her alive. Imani's chest tightened. She hated that it almost made sense. "Okay," she whispered. "So how do we keep her alive and make him suffer?" Minho blinked. "You're terrifying." Imani smiled, sharp. "You'll get used to it." Minho's ears reddened. "I don't think I want to." Imani's smile flickered, something softer trying to break through. Then she caught herself. "Focus, sunshine." Minho's mouth twitched. "Sunshine?" "Yeah," Imani said, "because you're too damn bright to be in this house." Minho's eyes held hers a beat too long. "Maybe," he said softly, "I stayed because I wanted to be." Imani's throat tightened. She looked away fast. "Yeah, okay, whatever." But her cheeks were warm. The next day, 10 a.m., the doctor arrived. The mansion smelled like coffee and antiseptic. The doctor's bag clicked open. Maya sat on the edge of the bed, hands trembling, Imani beside her like a bodyguard. Jamin stood across the room, arms crossed, gaze locked on the floor like he couldn't bear to watch. The doctor smiled kindly. "We'll do a quick ultrasound later, but first I'll take blood pressure and—" Maya's stomach flipped. "Ultrasound?" Imani squeezed her hand. "We gotta know, babe." Maya's eyes filled. "I'm scared." Imani's voice softened. "Me too." Jamin's head lifted sharply, eyes finding Maya. "I'll leave," he said immediately. Maya snapped. "No." He froze. Maya's throat tightened. "You don't get to disappear when it gets real." Jamin's jaw flexed. "Maya." "Stay," she said, voice shaking. "If you're the father, you stay." Everything went silent. Jamin's eyes flashed with pain and something like awe. He nodded once, slow. "Okay." The doctor took Maya's vitals, asked questions. Maya answered through nausea and tears. Then the doctor frowned at the blood pressure reading. "It's high." Maya's chest tightened. "What does that mean?" The doctor's tone stayed calm, but Maya heard the edge. "Stress can elevate it. But in pregnancy, high blood pressure can be dangerous. We need to monitor you closely." Imani's face paled. "Dangerous how?" The doctor hesitated. "Risk to mother and baby." Maya's vision blurred. Her breath came shallow. Panic clawed her throat. Jamin's voice cut through tight. "What do you need?" The doctor looked at him. "Rest. No stress. Follow up in a hospital. Today." Maya's laugh was hysterical. "No stress? In a Mafia mansion? Okay, sure." Jamin's face went stone. "Get the car." Minho appeared instantly in the doorway. "Already ready." Imani blinked. "Damn, logistics." Minho winced. "Please stop calling it that." Maya tried to stand. Dizziness hit her like a wave. Jamin moved without thinking, catching her. His hands were warm, strong. His thumb brushed her wrist where the marks had been. Maya inhaled sharply, body reacting despite her anger. Jamin's voice broke. "Easy." Imani watched them, eyes narrowing with reluctant understanding. "Okay," she muttered. "He's in it." Maya whispered, shaking. "Don't pretend this makes us okay." Jamin's gaze held hers, desperate. "I'm not pretending." He lowered his forehead toward hers but stopped short. "I'm trying to keep you alive long enough to hate me properly." Maya's tears fell again. "I hate that I still feel you." Jamin's eyes squeezed shut like it hurt. "Me too." At 1:30 p.m., the hospital smelled like bleach and fear. White walls, harsh lights, nurses moving fast. Maya lay on a bed in a private room, Jaemin's money buying privacy even in crisis. Imani sat by her head, rubbing her arm. Minho stood by the door holding a bag of snacks like he'd brought supplies for war. Jaemin paced, controlled violence. His shoes clicked on tile like a metronome of panic. Maya watched him and felt something twist inside her, love and anger braided tight. The nurse came in. "We need to do tests, and you need to reduce stress." Maya's laugh came out wet. "How do you reduce stress when your baby's father is—" She stopped, throat tightening, eyes flicking to Jaemin. He froze, breath caught. Maya whispered, "When he's him." The nurse looked between them, sensing drama, then wisely focused on her chart. A doctor entered, older, calm, sharp eyes. He examined Maya's results, then looked up. "You're at risk for complications," he said. "You need to be careful. Any trauma, physical or emotional, could trigger bleeding. Do you understand?" Maya's hands trembled. "Yes." Jaemin's voice cracked. "Is the baby okay?" The doctor studied him. "Are you the father?" Jaemin didn't hesitate. "Yes." Maya's breath caught. He said it like a vow, like he'd already chosen. The doctor nodded. "Then you need to help her stay calm." Jaemin laughed once, bitter. "I'm the reason she's not calm." The doctor didn't blink. "Then become the reason she's safe." After the doctor left, the room fell quiet. Machines beeping softly, rain tapping the window. Maya stared at the ceiling, trying not to cry again. Jaemin stopped pacing. He came closer, slow, careful, like approaching a wounded animal. "Maya," he said softly. She didn't look at him. "Don't. I need you to hear me." Maya's voice shook. "I heard you when you said I was nothing." Jaemin swallowed hard. His hands clenched, then opened, helpless. "I said it because I needed you to hate me enough to run." Maya's eyes finally lifted, red and furious. "You could have told me the truth." "I couldn't," he said, voice breaking, "because the truth would have made you stay, and if you stayed, they would have used you. They would have used the baby." Imani's face went tight. "Who is they?" Jaemin's jaw flexed. "My father, his rivals, anyone who wants my throne." Maya's stomach turned. "Throne?" Jaemin's eyes went dark. "The syndicate." Maya's voice cracked. "I didn't sign up for this." Jaemin stepped closer, eyes shining. "I know." His voice dropped to a whisper. "I signed you up the moment I touched you." Maya's breath hitched. Her tears fell anyway. Jaemin's face twisted, and then, like the cold, finally cracked. He sank to his knees beside her bed. Everything went silent. Imani's mouth fell open. Minho's eyes widened. Jaemin's voice broke completely. "I don't know how to be good," he whispered. "I only know how to survive." A tear slid down his cheek. One. Then another. Maya's chest ached so hard she thought she'd break. He looked up at her with wet eyes, raw and terrified. "But I swear to you, I will learn. For you. For our child." Maya's throat closed. "Why didn't you love me gently?" His sob was quiet, ugly. "Because nobody ever loved me gently." Maya's hand trembled as she lifted it. She didn't touch him, couldn't trust herself, but she let it hover near his hair. "I'm scared," she whispered. He nodded, tears falling. "Me too." Imani wiped her own eyes fast, muttering, "Oh, hell no, I'm not crying in a hospital." Minho offered her a tissue silently. Imani glared. "Don't look at me." Minho's voice was soft. "You're allowed to care." Imani's jaw tightened. "Shut up, sunshine." But she took the tissue. That night, 11:58 p.m., the attack came. Maya was asleep for the first time in days, drugged by exhaustion, finally drifting, when shouting exploded in the hallway. A crash, a scream, running footsteps. Maya jolted awake, heart slamming, her stomach clenched. Imani was up instantly, grabbing Maya's hand. "Stay down!" Minho shoved the door shut, locking it. His face was pale. "They're inside." Maya's breath shattered. "No!" A gunshot cracked. Maya screamed, curling around her stomach, tears spilling again. Pure terror now. Imani's voice shook but stayed fierce. "Jae-min!" Another gunshot, closer. Then the door handle rattled violently. Maya's vision tunneled. "Please, please not the baby." The door splintered. A masked man burst in, gun raised. Imani lunged, knife in hand, screaming, "Back up!" The man swung the gun toward Imani, and Jae-min slammed into the room like a storm. Everything happened so fast. He grabbed the intruder's wrist, twisted, gun clattering to the floor. He drove his elbow into the man's throat, then threw him into the wall so hard the picture frame shattered. A second intruder rushed in. Jae-min didn't hesitate. He tackled him, smashing his head into the tile. Once, twice, blood spraying. Maya sobbed, shaking, unable to stop. The sounds were too loud, too close. The air smelled like gunpowder and iron. Imani clutched Maya's shoulder. "Don't look, don't—" Minho stood by the door with a baton, guarding, face tight with fear. Jae-min turned toward Maya, blood on his hands, chest heaving. "Maya," he said, voice broken. "Are you hurt?" Maya couldn't speak. She just shook, crying, hugging her stomach. Jaemin's eyes went wild. He stumbled toward her, dropping to his knees again, hands hovering like he was afraid his touch would harm her. "I'm here," he whispered. "I'm here." Maya finally found her voice, ragged and furious. "This is your life. This is what you brought me into." Jae-min flinched like he deserved it. "Yes." Maya sobbed harder. I can't do this." Jaemin's voice shattered. "You won't." Maya blinked, tears blurring him. "What?" He swallowed, eyes burning. "I'm ending it. Tonight. I'm cutting ties with my father, with the syndicate, with all of it." Imani barked. "Can you even do that?" Jae-min looked at her like he'd already decided to die. "I can if I burn everything down." Minho whispered, stunned. "Boss." Jaemin's gaze stayed on Maya. "I won't let our child be born into blood." Maya's chest hurt. "And what if you can't?" Jaemin's voice went soft, desperate. "Then take the baby and run, and I'll die making sure you get away." Everything went silent. Maya stared at him, heart breaking open. Because he was horrible at love. But he was finally speaking it. 2 days later, at 6:20 p.m., the confrontation happened in public. Chairman Kang's banquet hall was all gold and cold light. Crystal chandeliers, polished wood, men in suits with smiles that didn't reach their eyes. The air smelled like expensive whiskey and hidden knives. Maya stood beside Jae-min, hands trembling, wearing a simple black dress that made her feel like a target. Imani stood on her other side like a guard dog. Minho hovered behind Imani, trying to look casual and failing. Jaemin's hand rested lightly at Maya's lower back. Possessive, protective, contradictory as hell. Maya whispered, "Don't touch me like we're together." Jaemin's jaw tightened. "I'm touching you like you're mine." Maya's breath caught. "You don't get to—" Chairman Kang approached. He was older, elegant, eyes like knives wrapped in silk. He looked at Maya like she was an object. "You," he said in Korean, then in English, "are the problem." Maya's stomach turned. She swallowed hard. "I'm a person." Chairman Kang smiled thinly. "In my world, you are leverage." Jae-min stepped forward, voice ice. "She's not yours to speak to." Chairman Kang's smile widened. "I made you, Jae-min." Jaemin's voice shook with contained rage. "You made a monster. I'm choosing to become a man." Chairman Kang's gaze dropped to Maya's stomach, and Maya felt exposed, violated. His voice went soft, poisonous. "Is it true?" Maya's breath hitched. Jaemin's hand tightened at her back. "Yes," he said. "She's carrying my child." Everything went silent. Murmurs rippled through the hall, heads turning, eyes sharpening. Chairman Kang's smile vanished. "Then you've doomed her." Maya's knees went weak. Imani grabbed her arm. Jamin's voice rose, shouting now, "No, you're done!" Chairman Kong's eyes narrowed. "You think you can leave? You think you can take what belongs to the syndicate?" Jamin snarled, "She doesn't belong to anyone." Chairman Kang leaned closer, voice low. "Then prove it. Choose." Jamin's breath hitched. Chairman Kang's gaze flicked to Maya. "If you walk away from me, she dies. If you kneel, she lives." Maya's stomach clenched, dread flooding her body. Jamin's face went pale. Imani hissed, "Oh my God." Minho whispered, "He's bluffing." Chairman Kang's eyes flashed. "Am I?" Jamin's hands shook. Maya stared at him, tears rising again, because she knew what he'd do. She knew he'd sacrifice himself. "Don't," Maya whispered. "Don't you dare." Jamin looked at her, eyes shining with agony. "I love you," he said, out loud in the middle of the room, voice cracking. "I fucking love you, Maya." Everything went silent again, deeper this time. Maya's sob broke free. "Then don't leave me." Jamin's tears fell. He turned to his father, voice shaking but fierce. "I choose her," he said. Chairman Kong's face hardened. "Then you choose death." Jamin's voice rose, shaking the room. "Then come try." Security moved, chaos sparked, and in that instant Minho stepped forward, voice loud, clear, surprising. "Chairman Kang," he said, "the police are outside." Everything happened so fast. Chairman Kang's eyes snapped to him. "What?" Minho lifted his phone, showing a live feed. Anonymous tip, photos, bank transfers, names. Imani stared at Minho. "You did that?" Minho's cheeks flushed. "Logistics," he muttered. Imani blinked, then, despite herself, smiled, fierce and proud. "Damn right." Sirens wailed outside. Chairman Kang's face twisted with rage. Jamin grabbed Maya's hand. "Run." Maya clutched his fingers, crying. "Together." Jamin nodded once. "Together." They ran. At 9:40 p.m., in the safety of a hidden apartment overlooking the river, Maya finally broke. The adrenaline drained. The fear settled. The reality hit. She sank to the floor and sobbed, loud, shaking, unstoppable. Her whole body trembled like it had been carrying a hurricane. Jamin knelt in front of her, hands hovering. "Maya." She hit his chest weakly. "You almost left me again." He grabbed her wrists gently, holding them like something precious. "I'm here." Maya cried harder. "I hate you. I love you. I don't know what to do." Jamin's own tears fell. "I don't deserve you." Maya's voice cracked. "Then earn me." He nodded, shaking. "Tell me how." Maya wiped her face, breathing hard, processing. Survival. "I need the truth," she whispered. "All of it. No more secrets." Jamin swallowed, eyes wet. "Okay." He took a shaky breath. "The night I threw you out, my father had a gun to Minho's head." Maya froze. "What?" Jamin's voice broke. "He said if I didn't cut you loose, he'd kill Minho and you both. He said he'd make sure you died slow." Maya's breath caught, nausea rising. Imani, from the couch, whispered, "Fuck." Jamin's shoulders shook. "So I did the only thing I knew. I hurt you first. I made you run." Maya's tears fell again, softer now. "You could have told me." Jamin's voice was a sob. "I was afraid if you knew you were in danger, you'd still stay. And He choked. "I don't trust myself around you. I don't trust my love to be anything but a curse." Maya stared at him, heart aching. She reached out and cupped his face. Finally, his skin was warm. His eyes closed like he'd been waiting for permission to collapse. Maya whispered, "Your love isn't a curse." Jamin's voice cracked, desperate. "Say it again." Maya swallowed. "Your love isn't a curse." His breath shuddered. "I love you," he whispered again, like he had to keep saying it until it became real. "I love you. I love you." Maya kissed him, slow, trembling, real. This time he didn't fight it. His hands cupped her face like she was sacred. His kiss was gentle, careful, like he was learning a new language, the taste of tears on both their mouths, the sound of rain at the window like applause from the sky. When they pulled apart, their foreheads touched. Maya whispered, "We do this right. For the baby." Jamie nodded, tears falling. "For you, for our child, for a life that isn't soaked in blood." Imani cleared her throat loudly. "Okay, that's enough intimacy for me, thanks." Minho, sitting awkwardly on the chair, muttered, "Agreed." Imani shot him a look. "Oh, you're still here." Minho's mouth twitched. "Unfortunately." Imani's eyes softened. "Actually, good." Minho blinked, surprised. "Good?" Imani sighed, then, like ripping off a bandage, said, "I like you, Sunshine." Minho's eyes widened. "You... what?" Imani rolled her eyes. "Don't make me repeat it. I'm brave, not reckless." Minho's smile spread, warm and stunned. "I like you too." Imani's cheeks flushed. "Okay, gross. Stop smiling." Minho laughed softly. "Can't." 3 months later, the sky was pink with sunset. A small private restaurant by the river, warm wood, soft lanterns, the smell of grilled meat and sesame and comfort. Outside, winter had finally loosened its grip. Inside, the air felt like new beginnings. Maya sat at the table with Imani and Minhu, laughter bubbling in her chest like she'd forgotten it could live there. Jamin entered holding a small velvet box. Maya's breath caught. Imani whispered, "Oh, hell yes." Minho coughed, nervous. "Is this a thing? Do we clap?" Imani elbowed him. "We clap when I say clap." Jamin came to Maya's side, eyes shining, no longer cold, still intense, still dangerous, but softened by something human. He knelt. The restaurant went quiet. Maya's eyes filled immediately. "Jamin." His voice shook. "I'm not going to ask you to live in my world." He swallowed hard, tears gathering. "I'm asking to live in yours." He opened the box. Simple ring, elegant, nothing flashy. Real. "I can't change my past," he whispered, "but I can give you my future, if you'll let me." Maya's hand flew to her mouth. Tears fell, happy, disbelieving. Imani whispered, "Say yes, babe. Make him cry more." Minho muttered, "Imani." Imani snapped, "Shut up." Jamin's voice cracked. "Maya, will you marry me?" Maya laughed through tears. "You're insane." He nodded, eyes wet. "Yes." Maya nodded, sobbing. "Yes, yes, I will." Jamin's breath shattered like relief. He slid the ring on her finger with trembling hands, then stood and pulled her into his arms, careful of her belly, careful of her heart. He kissed her forehead, whispering, "Thank you." Maya whispered back, "Don't ever throw me out again." Jamin's voice broke, "Never." Imani lifted her glass. To Maya, surviving Mafia nonsense and still finding love. Minho lifted his glass too, smiling at Imani. To new beginnings. Jamin looked at Maya, eyes soft. To new beginnings. Maya held her glass with trembling hands, feeling the baby move like a promise inside her. She looked at the people around her. Best friend, unexpected love, a man who learned how to be gentle. And she breathed in the warm air, the food, the laughter. 3 months ago, I thought getting thrown out was the end. It was the start. To new beginnings, Maya said, voice steady now, and for the first time in a long time, she believed it. The end.